All right, so this video is about an all too common occurrence in the school system these days. In this instance, another Wayne County school staff member in the form of an athletics coach and possibly a teacher has resigned or has been forced to resign because of inappropriate contact with a high school student. And by contact, that comes via the form of text message between he and the student, who was actually 17 years old at the time. Now, I'm going to read you these text messages that were sent to me by the mother, but I'm also going to give you some background of the incident. The picture that you see is one of Mr. Jermaine Buckram, and I pulled up his Facebook page, and Mr. Buckram is listed as a JV offensive coordinator at Eastern Wayne High School, head coach at Eastern Wayne We Warriors, assistant girls varsity coach at Eastern Wayne, and also a wide receiver position coach at Eastern Wayne High School. And actually, he is my Facebook friend, but I don't know him that well personally. I see him about town, and for all intents and purposes, from my point of view, he's always been a stand-up gentleman. I have never heard anyone say anything like this about him. So let me put that disclaimer out there first. I am getting this information from the daughter's mother, the child's mother, and information that she sent that coincides with Mr. Buckram's resignation or cessation of coaching basketball at Eastern Wayne High School. Now, I received a phone call earlier, and that phone call was from Latasha Wynn. Latasha Wynn. Latasha Wynn is the mother of now 18-year-old Zamaya Gardner, who is currently a student right now at Eastern Wayne High School. Now, how did we get to this point, right? So the mother informed me that sometime in August, on or about sometimes August 24th, evidently or apparently, she had been having some disciplinary problems with her daughter, Zamaya. And at this point, Miss Wynn told me that she confiscated Zamaya's cell phone. And when she confiscated Zamaya's cell phone, Zamaya in turn ran away. She asked me, did I hear about it? I had not. Maybe it was, a public, it was a public knowledge, and maybe there was a lot of people concerned about the situation because I'm not in the Eastern Wayne area. It was unbeknownst to me, but however, 17-year-old Zamaya ran away, and when she ran away that same day, her mother Latasha went through her cell phone, and when she went through the cell phone, she saw some messages that she felt were worth investigating. And so she saw the messages. I'm going to read you the messages so you can make your own decision of, the extent or the intent of these messages. But when she read the messages, what she told me she did was she entered the phone number into Cash App. And when she entered the phone number into Cash App, Mr. Buckram's profile picture came up. And it was then, maybe she already knew him, from the school, because she said she has some other children who go there as well. Nevertheless, she took the messages, in which once again I'll read the messages to you. She took the messages as inappropriate contact between, a man and I'm just guesstimating here. Maybe Mr. Buckram is around late 30s, early 40s, if that. But she took that as inappropriate as a high school official having that kind of contact with a 17-year-old daughter, or even a man of that age having contact with their 17-year-old daughter. So she informed me that she went to the Wayne County School Board. She presented the number to the faculty, and when they asked her how do they know it was him, she actually put the number in Cash App, and she showed it to them. And her response was, they said, "Wow." Now, that was on August the 24th. Now, I said, well, when did you get any response from the school regarding, Mr. Any interdisciplinary reactions from them? And she said, well, on August the 28th, she messaged one of the football players and asked them, was Mr. Buckram still coaching at the game? And the player told her no. And the other coaches had informed the players that they had someone new calling the plays now, which informs me that Mr. Buckram is no longer in that position as a head coach, or as any kind of coach. And the reasoning is because of this inappropriate contact, he was removed from the position. Now, as I always do, if anything that I say in this video is out of line or incorrect, call me direct, 919-587-7782, Richard Taylor. Now, and then, the mother is concerned as well, because she said recently she saw Mr. Buckram at a high school game. And she was kind of outraged. And she made a Facebook post, which I will also read to you in a few minutes. But first, I want to go over these text messages between the elder Buckram and the high school student Yasmir Garner. Okay, so here is one of the text messages. I'm not going to show you the text message itself because it has his number, up there. But I'm going to read a couple of the text messages. Now, this first message is from the young girl to Mr. Buckram. And this message reads, "I miss you, Stink." And Mr. Buckram replied with a wink and a heart. Now, analyzing this text message, I know nowadays stink is used as a term of endearment between two people who have an attraction towards, one another. I've heard that, used when women referring to their men and also men referring to their women in an affectionate manner. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, or am I right? If you can agree, let me know, is that correct in the comments? So now the second message, which was the same day, August the 10th, and that first message was sent at August the 10th, 11:14. Now, the second message is very, very suspect if you ask me. And Wednesday, August the 10th, the young Zamaya says, "Come see me at work, Daddy." Now, that phrase, daddy, and let me tell you from my own experience, I have never been called daddy by no one other than my daughter, who I wasn't intimately or romantically involved. Just putting that out there. And so for a 17-year-old girl to be calling, this, middle-aged man daddy, yes, I would say that is somewhat inappropriate, if not also telling of a possible inappropriate relationship. Now, once again, I'm not accusing Mr. Buckram of anything. Now, all of these things are just my speculations concerning, once again, these text messages that were exchanged between he and a 17-year-old girl at the time who was also a student at the school that he was an athletic coach on. Now, it also says, the next message, his response was, "I got practice." Right? And so then it goes on, Saturday at 2:25 p.m. It says, "Did I just see you?" And he said, "Where at?" And she responded by Food Line. And he said, "No, ma'am, that wasn't me." And now, so another set of messages. That was Saturday. So this is Sunday. Now, this is the 17-year-old girl messaging Mr. Buckram, stating that we long overdue. And his response is, "I know." We long overdue for what? Would be the question. Now tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. Tell me if you guys think that this is something innocent or this is something that the mother is rightfully concerned about. Because I'm a father too. And just putting my 2 cents in here, I wouldn't want my daughter's 15, but even if she was 17, I don't want her texting back and forth with a coach, especially like this. The text just be good game tonight or something like that. But none of this constant conversation. So she texts him, "We long overdue." He says, "I know." And then her response is, "You have been acting distant lately, so I don't know what we should do." Now, how is the mother supposed to take that? You've been acting distant lately. Now, once again, that is the only time I've ever heard that is from a woman that I've been romantically or intimately involved with. Now, that's just my experience. I don't know. You tell me. You be the judge on this. He didn't respond to that. And then, later, there's a text that says, Monday at 4:07, "You still at work?" Monday at 4:07. And the response is, "About to clock out." Now, this is Tuesday, the next day, and Mr. Buckram asked, "You called me?" And there was no response. And then this is yesterday, I guess that is the 23rd. Zamaya tells Mr. Buckram, "I'll be there shortly. You'll be where?" I don't know. Were they meeting up? That definitely sounds like a statement that pretty much infers that the two were meeting up. And then there's another text the next day. It says today. And that is apparently the day that the mother went through the phone. The 24th. Mr. Buckram asked her, "Where you at?" Where you at? Where you at? Now, mind you, that means, okay, well, where are you at? Either where you at, I'm coming to see you, or where you at, you supposed to been here by now. From just my interpretation. And so, if that happened on the day that she ran away, and that, those are the extent of the questionable text messages that were sent between the two. But if that happened on the day that she ran away, he's asking where she's at. Maybe once again, I'm speculating. Maybe that was the cause of her deciding to run away. And as of today, the mother said that she, their relationship is still somewhat strained. I think she said that her daughter was, staying with her aunt. But the fact that she ran away is, once again, from my experiences, from being that age, but also having experience with children who run away. A lot of times they do that when a love interest is involved. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've seen it in my younger days, and also I've seen it in my older days, where when a love interest is taken away, then, that female or even that male will, disassociate themselves from family and run off and try to be with that person. Now, once again, I'm not saying that this is the case. I'm not, once again, accusing Mr. Buckram of having that relationship. I am just analyzing the text from the verbiage that was used, from my experience and according to the mother's concern. Now, once again, I didn't wake up today and say, hey, I'm going to talk about Mr. Jermaine Buckram. This phone call was given to me by a concerned mother who still doesn't know what to do because, as someone mentioned, and mind you, I talk to every time before I do a video, I talk to, a few people, a few trusted people to get their opinion on the situation. So evidently, if I'm not mistaken, the legal age of consent in North Carolina is 16. Don't quote me because I have no reason to be checking the legal age of consent. Anybody, around that age is, I can't even look at them like that, first and foremost. However, just like in the case of Mr. Hunter at the Southern Wayne, I think the young lady, was 17 or 18, but because he was a teacher, he violated some kind of code. And I don't know if they gave him like a cookie cutter offense with the young lady out there, and you can go back and watch the video on him. But in this case, once again, the young lady is 17, so I don't know if there was any intimate contact. I don't think or know that would be illegal or against the law. However, from a moral standpoint, from an ethical standpoint of someone being in a position of coaching and leading children and molding them unto the next phase of life, I don't know, this is just my opinion, do not think whether it's 17 or even if she's 18 in high school, because a lot of high schoolers are 18, I don't think that would be the appropriate boundary to cross from a student, teacher, leader, coach to a student. So nevertheless, once again, that's just my opinion. You tell me what you think in the comments. Now, the mother, once again, she's, once again torn. I guess she's frustrated because she does not feel that Mr. Buckram needs to be at the games. Now, I'm going to read this Facebook post to you. This is from Latasha Wynn. And she said, this is 3 days ago, so I think that was on a Tuesday night game. She said, I'm trying to figure out why in the world Jermaine Buckram keep being allowed to come to these kids' games. Someone please explain that to me. Now, evidently, maybe once again, the situation has been publicized. This is my first time hearing about it. So once again, she put this as a major Facebook post. So she feels in her mind, because of the inappropriate contact and because of his removal from the position of coach, allegedly because of inappropriate contact. Once again, I'm not sure that is why he was removed. And once again, my number is 919-587-7782. I'm not sure that is why he was removed, but the time coincides. If the mother found the text messages on the 24th and she went to the school on that same day, and then 3 days later, Mr. Buckram is not on the sidelines anymore and the team has another person calling the plays, then, you do the dishes. 2 + 2 is 4. That's food for thought. Like Jay said, you do the dishes, But there were a few comments that were related to this. And I'm going to read a couple of comments to you. Someone says, who's that? And Miss Winsor, I don't know him personally. I just know he's a sick individual. Once again, that's her opinion of him. Other people said, and actually, if I was her, I would, be probably sharing these text messages if I was her, for people can make the decision on themselves. And one lady, once again speaking to Mr. Buckram's character in the community, states, "I don't know what this post consists of, but I do know he's an awesome coach, and his sportsmanship for the young youth, this man is incredible." Once again, that is the public sentiment. That is my sentiment of him. I've seen, Facebook posts of him working with the kids. I've seen it with my guy Freedom out there, and I know the work Freedom does for the community. So, when I see him, it's always, hats off. What's up, my guy? But I don't know him personally. And Letitia Wynn responds like, he likes to support young A girls to a little too much, if you ask me, baby. And I'm still mad about the situation, and something more will be done about that. This one. So she didn't really elaborate. And I guess the Latasha sent the text messages to this lady and said, tell me as a mother, and if this was your child, how would you feel? Okay, awesome coaching don't justify a nasty grown a sex offender and need to be registered, period. And so I don't know anything about him, but Goldsboro, NC is filled with perverts, as we see from earlier situations that some of it expound upon. This lady said the consent age here is 16. So people come here just for that. And that was made by somebody I know. That's classmate. That's not his character at all. I've known him for years. Always been an excellent mentor. Someone else, speaking of his great character. Miss Wynn responds, everything that glitter is not gold. Y'all seem to think black and white does not lie. And another lady agrees, said it makes no sense why he is allowed to even be around kids. So there's been some conversation about this. So I'm not the only one that's conversating about this. Once again, I do a platform where people call me, message me, text me, and say, hey, I have a story that I want you to expose. If the story seems plausible, if the story is relevant to certain issues, then of course I do it. So one lady says, I'm trying to figure out the same thing. Nobody has the right to tell her how she feels. One thing for certain, I don't put anything past the person. But when a child comes to me about any situation that is not acceptable, I'll believe them first. But when I have solid facts, I'm taking it all the way. So how I get what one says that's not his character, but then the next says different. And that's what we have. That's why I was just telling a friend the other day. She was telling me about some people she know, and she thinks that they are above reproach. I was like, you know them from that arena, but you're not at their house. You don't know them that well. A lot of people, feel like they know people. And then, people felt like, of course, they knew Jeffrey Dahmer, right? But he was sitting around with, all types of body parts in his freezer. And Ted Bundy and all those people. So people can put up that front. Not saying that this is the case with my brother here. I'm just saying, using that as an example. Now, the mother also added that, trust me, it's not just my daughter. It was another girl also. Apparently at the same time he was messing with my daughter, because it was told to me that she told, and I assume that it's her daughter Zanaya, told my cousin that she stopped talking to Mr. Buckram because my daughter found out he was messing with another young lady at Eastern Wayne High. It's just heartbreaking to know as a mother, to know some grown man is in her head and she not even out of high school. Please don't get me wrong. I blame my daughter too, which is respectable at best for her to blame her daughter, because, at the age of 17, girls are, sexually active, let's be real, and some girls do like older men. We I've seen that in high school. Like I always tell people, not justifying, with all of those girls that were mad and yelling at R. Kelly. I remember distinctly when I was in high school, 16 or 17-year-olds were riding off with the drug dealers, and they were 25 and 26, and everybody knew about it. Nobody said nothing. And I can name names if you want me to, but I digress, right? However, being the fact that, the young lady is 17 and the man is, middle age, I think once again that is almost predatory, to grab the attention of a young woman who, is looking for that allure, looking for that security, looking for, something fun and exciting and adventurous. And you being, a coach, being able to provide that for you. Once again, not saying that this is, but if that is the case, that would seem predatory. But I do think, as I mentioned before, that a lot of these messages are inappropriate. Once again, if you're a coach and you coaching my daughter, there's no, daddy talking. There's no we long overdue talking. There is no, what up stink. I know, once again, I know those connotations. I know those code words. Those are terms of endearment. And then I spoke with, someone else who is close to another teacher at the school. And they informed me that, yes, the teacher said there has been rumors. And he also used to teach a class as well. So, I'm not, once again, nailing this man to the cross, but of course, as the old saying go, where there's smoke, there's fire. Once again, we've seen this with Mr. Hunter. I heard rumors of teachers in school as well. We saw it, I think, with Mr. Baxter. I think, so many teachers throughout the years have fallen victim to whatever desire that influences them to, cross that line between teacher, instructor, example, advisor, one who guides students, to infatuation, attraction, those things. That's a very thin line as well. But, I pray that, this is as innocent as I would like it to be. And once again, if anybody wants to call me and clarify it, 919-587-7782. I wish my brother the best. I do see him out once again in the community, but I do understand the concerns as well. If this has been something that has proven to be malicious, then I do understand the concerns of, parents, especially this mother, not wanting him to, not wanting to see him at games where other young children, even her other young daughters, are at. So, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Once again, 919-587-7782. If anything I said is incorrect, let me know. I try to be as non-malicious and respectful as I can, but this is evidently a subject that's already public. It is evident that this man is no longer coaching, and once again, for his character to be exemplified by some of these comments and also his past in the community, then there has to be a reason why he is no longer in that position. And according to the mother, it is because of these inappropriate text messages. So you be the judge. I'm not the judge, jury, or the executioner. I just relate the story. So thank y'all for tuning in.